Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews. My buddy Rob on his channel recently did a video in his Crazy Five series. He did like five remakes that he dug, and I thought, that's kind of a cool idea. I'd like to, you know, cover some remakes. So I decided to go, honestly, one step even further. So I'm covering remakes, Rinos, and you know, honorable mentions. Reno's, just in case you don't know, remake in name only. Um, Stuff that falls under that is stuff like readaptations of source material and everything. Stuff that's not necessarily an actual remake of a movie, but it's got the name, it's got the basics. You'll see when we get to them. So we'll start off with the honorable mentions. First up is one that will probably surprise people that have been watching my channel for a while, and that's the Pet Sematary remake. When I first saw this, I was not a fan at all. It's grown on me since, but the directors just didn't know what it was that made the original Pet Sematary scary. They made an effective little horror flick, with some good effects and some good acting, but it was kind of soulless. It was like missing the heart of what made Pet Sematary scary, which is the basic plot of What If. We know bad shit happens here. What if this time will be different? That's what makes it scary. So just saying. So still a decent enough movie, belongs on the list as an honorable mention. That's about it. Next up for honorable mentions, we have The Crazies, based on George A. Romero's movie. Um, it's fine. It's a fun movie. Um, I'd say almost this falls more into the Reno category, in that there are some major differences, but it still has the essence of it. But it falls under the honorable mentions because there are better ones. Next up is the remake of Night of the Demons. This is one no one talks about anymore, and I don't really know why. Fun flick, honestly. Different enough from the original that it kind of straddles the line between Reno and remakes, hence why I'm putting it here. Um, it sort of follows the plot of the original movie, but it strays quite a bit. But not enough to really, you know, constitute it as a Reno. So yeah. And last up in the honorable mentions, we have Friday the 13th. The main reason this is in here is this is just it's just another Friday the 13th entry. Um, that's it basically. It's a fun flick. You know it's good enough, but it doesn't rewrite history. It doesn't do anything. It is what it is. So it falls into there. So now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of this video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna alternate remake, then a Reno. So first up, for a really good remake that honestly people don't talk about, and they should, and that is War of the Worlds. Um, War of the Worlds is a bit of a hard one because I absolutely love the original War of the Worlds. And does this have that charm? No. But does it tell the story well? You know what? I think it does. Um, are there some missteps in it? Yeah, the ships being underground for one. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, but is what it is, right? But it's a very solid remake of the movie, and it works really well. So yeah, there you go, War of the Worlds. Now for Rinos, I'm going with Color Out of Space. So you're probably thinking, why am I mentioning this? This isn't a remake. Like, even a remake in name only? It is. Color Out of Space has been adapted many times. It's been adapted as The Curse. It's been done as Defarb, aka The Farm, aka Color Out of Space. Essentially, what this did, though, is this took the basic plot and it moved it up in time into a different time period and everything. Added a lot of stuff that works really well. In fact, this is one of my favorite Lovecraft adaptations, but there's actually very little Lovecraft in it. It's weird. It gets it thematically. It gets it, you know, everything about it screams Lovecraft, but when compared to the actual Lovecraft source material, it's very much a different take. Hence why it falls under the Reno category. Still, though, a great movie. Nicolas Cage is perfect in this, and we need more Richard Stanley Lovecraft stuff. I don't care about the stuff going on in his personal life or anything. You know what? People can complain all they want. Screw them. Give us more. So there we go. Next, for remakes, we have The Hills Have Eyes. This is a remake of Wes Craven's flick, and it's just a good, solid remake. It hits all the same points as the original, but it changes it just enough that it feels different, but not... How can I put it? You still feel like you're watching The Hills Have Eyes. You don't feel like you're watching something else. And that's the main difference between a remake and a Reno. A remake, you're watching the story that you know. A Reno will be like something that takes it in a completely different direction. So there it is. Hills Have Eyes, really solid. Alexandra Aja directed it, and honestly, we need more Aja. Honestly, the last thing Aja did, it wasn't that... Sorry if there was a jump cut there. Memory issues again. But yeah, a really solid film, really solid director. One we need more films from, let's be honest. So next we're moving over into Rinos again, and that is Bram Stoker's Dracula. You can tell why this falls under here. It's a readaptation of the original novel. It's not a remake of the movie, but it's damn good. And I've always been a fan of this. And yes, that is a custom cover using the good artwork, as opposed to the weird ass, I hate that cover. I really do. So yeah, so that falls under Reno for that reason. It's a readaptation, but a really solid movie nonetheless. And I saw this in theaters. That's taken me back. Next for remakes, we have one. This will cause some irritation with people. I don't care. Halloween. A damn good remake, despite what all these people hating on Rob Zombie. And honestly, I just believe a lot of them are just jealous they couldn't make a movie themselves. I'm not going to go too much into this. If you want more information of this, I'll leave a link to Rob's video down below where he talks about, why this movie feels like two different movies, and it's a really interesting story once you know it. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It took an odd approach in that it's part Reno, part remake. The second half of the movie is a pure remake of John Carpenter's Halloween. The first half you got all new stuff, but I put this under remake simply because of how close to the source material it sticks in that second half. And it definitely deserves to be on here because this is a good movie. I don't care what people say. Halloween's a good movie. Don't be a crybaby. Live with it. Next up for Rinos, we have Silent Night. This is the perfect example of a remake in name only. Um, you know, they say it's a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. The only thing that makes it a remake of that is you have a killer Santa Claus. That's it. No other reason. Really solid movie, really fun movie, honestly. And it's just a great, like, Christmas horror film. And yes, he does have a flamethrower in the movie, so really good stuff. I can't recommend that one enough. Really great. Next for remakes, we got this is just in a custom cover, hence why you'll see it like this. But Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978. This is actually in a thing with got the original there and the remake. Really solid. Honestly, one of the creepier takes on. This is a good example of taking sci-fi from the 50s and making it horror. Because I don't care what you say. If I had a video store, I would put Invasion of the Body Snatchers under horror. You know, some people say, "Oh, it's a sci-fi movie." It's a sci-fi movie. Like, yeah, it's got sci-fi, but it's a horror at its core. You know it. I know it. Don't lie to yourself. Next for Rinos, we got one my buddy will be quite happy about me bringing up this one. That is the Child's Play remake. This falls under Reno for me simply because, it goes in a very different direction. All it really keeps is the basics of, a killer doll. But it goes completely different. Essentially, it's all, like, mechanically induced. But it's a really, actually solid movie. Some people have an issue with, the buddy doll. I get it. But what you have at its core is a really solid, fun tech slasher. And they're few and far between. And this is a good one. And I just gotta say, the ending of this, I really liked. So yeah. Next for remake, we have Dawn of the Dead. What can you say? Some people don't really dig it. They're welcome to their wrong opinion. It's really solid. Is it better than the original Dawn of the Dead? No. Does it hold a candle to the original Dawn of the Dead? Not really. But it takes the bones of the original story and runs with it, and it works. And like I said, you watch this movie, you know you're watching Dawn of the Dead. You never confuse it for anything else. So for that reason, that's on this list. Now for Rinos, we're going back to Christmas again, and this is the Black Christmas remake from, when was it? 2006. We do not talk about the other Black Christmas remake because that is an abomination that is wrong on so many levels. But this is a really solid little slasher flick. The reason this falls under the Reno category is mainly because, what they change in it. The basic plot is the same as Black Christmas, and I applaud that, definitely. But the differences with the killers, the fact they go more into it, and they don't try to replicate any of the scenes from the movie, not from the original. It falls under Reno. That's what I say. At the same time, though, watching this, would you think you're watching Black Christmas? Not necessarily. That's why it falls under here again. But a good movie. Damn good movie. Next for remakes, we have Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead. Honestly, if anyone had the right to remake Night of the Living Dead, it was Tom Savini, and he did such a good job with this. Um, Good effects, good actors, everything was chosen very well, and this movie, all in all, is a solid release, and it needs more love. Let's be honest, because it's a damn good flick. So yeah, Night of the Living Dead, Tom Savini's remake. Next for Reno, we have Godzilla. Yep. Uh, you can guess why this falls under Reno, definitely, because it has no real connection to the original 1954 Godzilla, but it's still a fun movie, and there are some scenes in this that just work, um, and the sheer size of our Godzilla here is awesome, and I love this movie. So it falls in this list just by default. Back to remakes, we now got The Blob. You know, essentially, with this, it's the exact same story as, the 50s Blob, except done as like a horror movie, where the 58 was done as more of a sci-fi monster flick. And I appreciate that. Really solid, good effects, good, pretty decent acting all around. A wonderful mullet with Kevin Dillon. you know, all in all, this is a movie I really wanted them to make a sequel to this. It could have been really cool. It was set up at the end perfectly. One of the better remakes of all time, and just like I said, you're watching The Blob when you watch this. Every part of it just feels right. Next for Rinos, we got The Thing. The reason this is in here is very simple. Well, one, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. And two, this isn't a remake. Some people say it is. It's not. This is a retelling of the source material, and it's phenomenal. What more can you say about, John Carpenter's The Thing? It is a perfect movie. I mean, not necessarily perfect. Like, technically, there are a few little nitpicks you can pick up if you're watching it. There are a few continuity errors. It's not perfect that way. But honestly, this is a movie I will watch there hasn't been a year gone by that I haven't watched The Thing at least 5 times. So, just saying. A good flick, and you can't go wrong with it. Though just for a thing, I would recommend, if you are getting a copy of The Thing, I would maybe consider the Arrow version. This Scream Factory one, the color palette on it has been kind of messed with. It just doesn't quite look right. It looks good, but it doesn't quite look right. Yeah. So, next for remakes, we got The Ring. This is one of the few times where they've made a remake of a Japanese film where it hasn't come off as just a gimmick, And it's a really solid movie, very well shot, beautiful, beautiful color timing on this. Got this really cold palette throughout the entire thing. Really a phenomenal movie to watch, and it gets everything that the original has. This has as well. but it never feels like a cheap copy. It always feels like, they watch the original and they're like, we want to tell this story again, but we want to do it right. And that's what you got with this. Next for Rinos, we have The Evil Dead. This is under here for one reason and one reason only. We now know from interview with Bruce Campbell, the whole idea, the continuity between the original Evil Dead series and this and the new Evil Dead Rise is there are 3 Necronomicons. The 3 Necronomicons that we see in Army of Darkness. This is one of them. Evil Dead Rise is one of them. And the one we have in the main Evil Dead series is one of them. So they're 3 different books with 3 different I guess, sets of demons, if you will. But a really solid movie. And I will say to anyone, if you watched this Evil Dead remake and you didn't like it, I'll say, you know what, give it another shot, but turn the color off of your TV and watch it in black and white. It's kind of eye-opening. And it's a damn good movie. It just is. Last up for remakes. This is probably the best remake ever made. You know what? I'm just saying it. The best remake ever made. The Fly. It takes everything that was set out in the original Fly and just ratchets it up, makes it more believable, makes it more. This is like David Cronenberg's body horror at some of its best, and great effects, great acting, just an all-around excellent film. And, most of my others have been just like in a random order, but this is easily, like I said, the best remake ever made. I have not seen anything that comes close. So there. And last up for Rinos, again, you might have noticed another jump cut there. Sorry about that. Last up for Rinos, we have Hellraiser. This is officially considered a remake. I don't really see it as that. This has always seemed to me to have been another story set in like the Hellraiser universe with a different set of Cenobites, with a different box. The only thing, what would have made this perfect for me is just, you could have just had one little scene right at the end. It just had the Cenobites, like back in hell, walking to their cubicle, their hell cubicles or whatever, and just be passing other rooms, and in one of these rooms would be the original Cenobites from the original Hellraiser. And just be like, essentially, each of these rooms has a different group of Cenobites, a different method of getting them, and a different outcome, if you will. So yeah, that's why this falls under Reno for me. But a damn good movie. Honestly, one of my favorite movies. I would say probably my favorite movie of last year. Just saying, really solid. So yeah, that's my video. As I said before, I'll leave a link below down to Rob's video if you want to check that out. I definitely recommend it, even if you just want to hear about the whole kerfuffle with Halloween and the events leading up to it and why it seems the way it does. So yeah, that's it for me. See you next time.